up, guys? This is Asia.
And I'm Madison. Thanks for tuning into CPS360.
Today on the show, we're bringing you updates on what's happening in our schools and community.
Like updates on Rock Bridge events, the College and Career Village, a school musical, and Powder Puff football at Rock Bridge.
As well as updates on the protests at Mizzou and a local trunk or treat on Halloween.
But first, let's catch up with Allie Hill for coverage on this year's Powder Puff football tournament at Rock Bridge High School.
This year's Powder Puff football is just around the corner, and the Rock Bridge seniors are in full swing. Although, keeping 25 girls focused on football can pose a bit of an issue.
The girls tend to get a little off focus, but we just have to pull them back on, and they try hard.
It may seem impossible to reel in these girls, but there is a method.
Just raise your voice a little bit, try and do that. I normally get the other guys to raise their voice, and then the guy, our sponsor. So, yeah.
Underclassmen have always speculated that seniors have the advantage over how the game goes, but some would say differently.
No, not really, because we're seniors and we're tougher than they are, and I think we have the big edge on them.
When Wednesday night rolls around, the seniors get ready to display their energy and edge. With determination and focus, the seniors are able to defeat not only the sophomores and juniors, but also the faculty, thanks to the aggressiveness and skill of the senior class. And to end off the event, there was a special appearance from the one and only Bruin Boys. Seniors keep their winning streak alive.
That was so cute.
Yeah, Powder Puff always looks like so much fun.
Next, Madison covered the College and Career Village at Rock Bridge.
The hallways were filled with the buzz of students. Papers were shifted around, tables were set up, schedules were posted, and Rockbridge welcomed guests into its classrooms and gymnasium. The College and Career Village had arrived. Every other year, Rockbridge hosts professionals from the community to participate in panel discussions with students interested in their professions, and colleges from around the Midwest set up informational booths in the gymnasium to give students information about admissions, advantages, and opportunities that their school provides.
Like all sorts of stuff. And then they all go over and take places. So you end up...
Yeah, I filled it out last year.
It's beneficial because you get to compare colleges directly and see all the different ones together instead of just trying to research them individually and having no idea where to start.
I think it's really helpful because a lot of students don't have the resources they need to know about higher education, and this fair gives them those resources right here at school so that they can learn more about college and future planning.
Here's what guidance counselor Mrs. Reed has to say about the event.
I just hope that if they attended the CCV, that they were able to get some information straight from, a community member who's in a career area of interest about what that career really looks like, and then they can use that in determining if that's something that they want to pursue and find out more about, or if maybe they want to go another area.
Early opportunity to sign. And so to give you a little bit of information about what type of scholarships might be available.
Overall, the fair was a great way for students to think outside the walls of Rockbridge High School and contemplate their college decisions, future professions, and look forward to their futures. This has been Madison Wright for CPS360.
What an excellent opportunity for students.
Yeah, it's awesome to have all of those resources.
Okay. Up next, Summer White took us behind the scenes of Barnum, Rockbridge's fall musical.
Rockbridge High School's all-school musical, Barnum, was a big success this year. Freshman Piper Page will tell you what the musical was all about.
Barnum was about the story of Phineas T. Barnum, who was a circus man and he wanted to join the circus, but also his wife wanted him to be a clockmaker. So he was kind of battling this inner thing, like, do I want to work in the circus or do I want to go home and be a clockmaker and just be boring with his life? So that's just basically the story follows him and that journey.
There were many smaller roles in the musical, but senior Neil Cathro had the lead role playing P.T. Barnum.
Barnum's the name! P.T. Barnum!
Neil blew the crowd away with his amazing performance, but he didn't do it all alone.
I was Jenny Lind, an opera singer that he hired for his like museum or like freak show and stuff. Yeah, and then we had an affair, like our characters had an affair, but then he realized that he loved his wife and went back to her. So.
Andrea Baker had a more interactive role in the musical, while Piper Page played a different type of role.
I played the blues singer, and she is kind of a narration of what was happening in Barnum's life at that time. And during the beginning of the song, it follows Barnum as he makes the transition into coming back home into what Cherry wanted, which was being a clockmaker. And then it follows that through changing, like he decided in the middle of the song that he didn't want to do that. He wanted to bring color into his life and become a politician.
Barnum had many different parts to it that it was hard to pick which one was the best.
My favorite part of the show, I think I want to say my solo, and that sounds bad, but I think it honestly was just like the jazzy parts of it and the transition between me and Cherry Barnum, that interaction, and the end of the song was just very lively, and I think it brought a lot of color to the show.
I just really love, like, whatever show I do is just getting to know the people and like getting to do what we all love and sing and act and dance and just all on the same stage and get to see people grow as their character and as themselves.
Barnum was a great show with a great cast. Some of them will continue to be in Rockbridge shows, and some of them will move on to bigger and better things. With CPS360, this is Summer White.
A lot of you may have heard about campus protests at Mizzou over the past few weeks. Marco Ria brought us the info on Concerned Student 1950.
A stillness took over Mizzou campus this past week as protests reached national news level. Hoping to end racial hostility at the university, an activist group named Concerned Student 1950 led campus-wide protests pressuring for President Tim Wolf's resignation. After a week of peaceful protests and support from the football team, which promised to boycott any games until his resignation, President Wolf had no other choice than to quit. However, though this group thought of this as the perfect outcome, some people on campus had their doubts on what this would actually solve.
I think that Wolf resigning opens up a dialogue about new changes that need to be made, but I don't think Wolf alone resigning is going to completely change the atmosphere on campus.
Walking around campus, the skeptic opinion on what the final result actually accomplished was pretty popular.
No, I don't. I believe the reason he only stepped down was because it shows that he didn't want to be involved in this mess, but I mean, it's definitely a start to get to that change, but just one person resigning isn't going to do anything. It's not going to change what other people's opinions are on campus. But people were angry. Yeah. They were ready to protest against, they were ready to try and reinstate Tim Wolf because they thought it wasn't fair.
They're just going to put another guy in the same boat. I mean, unless they really look and hire someone who is known for like this sort of change, I don't really think anything's going to happen.
Even some minority students agreed that there could have been better ways to solve this.
Firing one person isn't going to make people less racist. I don't think that Wolf stepping down is that substantial in that aspect, but I do think that it will lead to, future, like it'll get the ball rolling. I think today is one of the days where you see like who your true friends are, not who your true friends are, but what they really stand for, because you see people that are really like closed-minded and they're getting really defensive about a situation that they can't really relate to because they're white.
Finally, Julia Bauer brought us a story on trunk or treat in downtown Columbia.
There are many ways to get candy on Halloween, and First Christian Church hosts a yearly trunk or treat to provide a fun and safe way to celebrate this spooky holiday.
Trunk or treat has been around for years, but here at First Christian Church, I think 5 years. And sometimes it's raining or not, and other times it's beautiful weather. Today we're doing it with Woodhaven, an organization here in Columbia, and it's good.
Youth and adults from First Christian and Woodhaven decorated their car trunks in a unique Halloween theme. Some labored hours over them, and others just threw them together.
Well, I can't be too scary, so it's kind of like children's scary. Yeah, I threw it together with help with my grandmother.
Going with a nautical, kind of in a shark's mouth theme today.
The best part of Trunk or Treat by far is the cute kids running around with smiling faces and costumes collecting candy.
I think my favorite part is seeing all the wild costumes that little tiny kids are wearing because they're just fun.
You're gonna go.
Here we go. This rainy and cold October 31st didn't stop Columbia and First Christian from enjoying Halloween and getting as much candy as possible.
That's all for today. Thanks for joining us on CPS 360.
Tune in next time and stay tuned for PJ Geen bringing you sports news.
Welcome to CPS 360 Sports. I'm PJ Geen. With the winter sports season just beginning, Cole McGee brings us a feature on Hallsville wrestling.
Hallsville wrestling may have only been around for 2 years, but in only 2 short years, the team has already made a huge impact. Senior captain Andrew Robb feels that being the team captain has benefited him.
I've had experiences with being a leader, so it actually helps me out a lot better.
Coach David Nugent is also new to the Hallsville program, being the first coach in Hallsville wrestling history.
2 main reasons. Number one, the opportunity to kind of start from scratch has always been something that I thought I'd like to do, and so when Hallsville announced they were starting wrestling, that was very tempting to me. Yeah, there's definitely been some difficulties. People are kind of skeptical about trying it, whether it's just the fact that it's a very hard sport.
Wrestling may be an individual sport, but there is also a team goal for the upcoming season.
Team goal is to place overall as a team in state and bring home some trophies just like.
Unlike other sports, the only way for the coaches to show the athletes what to do is by actually doing it.
Circle.
Last year, the Hallsville team took 4 guys to state, and Coach Nugent feels that he can send more this year.
We've got some guys that hopefully can compete for a state title this year, so in the short term, it's hopefully to have some state champions this year. We took 4 guys to state last year. We'd like to take more this year.
But all in all, the practices may be long and the sport may be hard, but everyone competing loves it.
Moving from the mats to the hardwood, Zach Bierup brings us a story on the Rock Bridge boys basketball team.
The Rock Bridge Bruins men's basketball team is starting off the season with some intense practices to prepare. From last year to this year, the Bruins plan to improve dramatically by incorporating new freshmen into the mix of things. With many of last year's seniors leaving, the pressure on upcoming underclassmen this year is tremendous. Seniors play a big role in this year by the amount of talent in the underclassmen. The leadership skills by seniors is huge by showing them how they fit into the role of the team. Jack Woodhelm shows us how important the team practices are for improving team chemistry and incorporating the underclassmen.
Seniors who left last year that were a very important part of our team, and basically it's just about incorporating all the new guys.
Jim Scanlon, the head coach of the Rock Bridge Bruins, feels that if you work hard in practice, that it will translate into the games. Many of the players know that even though practice is hard, that they are getting the skills that they need to be the best and win games for their school.
I think practice is really helping us just grow together as a team. We got quite a few new guys that we're really building into the rotation. We're getting excited for the season. It's coming up quick. Got to sharpen up all the fundamentals and get ready to go for the game.
Fundamentals are key for the Bruins this year as they plan to develop for upcoming years with all of the new freshman talent they are starting to incorporate. In any sport, you must have fundamentals or you and your team can't succeed. No matter what, you must work on the most basic things and have completely mastered these and not work on the fancy things. Overall, the Bruins seem to be a young team with a promising future and a promising season full of wins if they complete the simple tasks and work hard in practice.
The football season is wrapping up, and Battle High School was the last team standing in Columbia once again. Asia Tilford brings us the highlights from 2 of their playoff matchups.
As Battle hosts the Waynesville Panthers, their defense and offense were off to a fairly well start. The Panthers brought their A game, but Battle rose above as the rain began to fall. There were no touchdowns in the first half, but BHS finished with a final score of 49-32. It was a chilly Friday night as Battle High School hosted the Lebanon Hornets. Battle defense came out strong, stopping every touchdown attempt. Brennan DeMarco and Brevin Tyler have some good runs to help Battle progress down the field. And Battle pulled out with the win 27-14, making them back-to-back district champs.
Battle unfortunately lost to Fort Osage in the state semifinal game and finished the season with a record of 11-3. Moving on to more playoff action, I covered the district title soccer game between Hickman and Rock Bridge. I also covered the purple and gold scrimmage for the boys Hickman's basketball team. Here are your highlights. Hickman and Rock Bridge boys soccer coming at ya. At first, it was a game of defense and better setups. Then Rock Bridge went all the way to score and then led 1-0. Coming out fresh in the second half, the game returned to a slow pace. Both crowds were hushed until Rockbridge goes down again and scores. The Brew Crew was electric, and Rockbridge advances with the 2-0 win. Hickman's purple and gold basketball showed a massive display of offense. With multiple dunks and great long balls, Hickman did it all. Just take a look. With such an explosive offense and such a tough schedule, Hickman looks to lean on their offense to propel them to more victories this season. I think it's safe to say Hickman's going to have a good year. Both teams had a great season this year. Now for our last feature of this sports show, Leah Mitchell brings us a feature on the Hickman wrestling team.
Coach Pieper gave me an inside look on how his experience with wrestling and how he's bringing that experience to a young team.
I think we'll have 1 or 2 seniors on the starting varsity lineup. We're hoping to have about 10 to 12 kids out of the 14 weights this year, which is an increase from last year. But we're still, down in the numbers. We're at about 20 kids. We'd like to have 10 to 15 more kids in the room to be able to work with. But with the kids we got are working hard and they want to compete and they want to put Hickman Wrestling back on the map. The team is to win. We won 3 duels last year. We'd like to win at least 3, if not more, this year, and try to get at least 2 kids to the state tournament, if not more.
Jeremiah Kent, a sophomore here who has already done very well and put in work this summer, is still looking to improve.
Really, I want to improve my overall record. I want to have a better record than I did last year. Drill position, gotten a lot better at choosing what type of shots to take.
Very strong, a senior, is trying to get a state championship in his final go-around on Hickman Wrestling.
Conditioning, we did a lot of running and stuff on preseason and a little bit of technique, but mainly the conditioning. Hopefully, I'm going to try and work really hard to make it to the state tournament this year. I haven't made it to state tournament yet in my high school career, so I'm going to try and work to get there this year.
As the season is coming up, the wrestling team will look to have a strong season.
Thanks for watching CPS 360 Sports. I'm PJ Geen, and we'll see you next time, folks.